Hi everyone. Recently I had an assignment for class in occupational therapy school to design a piece of adaptive equipment with a particular person in mind to kind of help perform a functional task that person may have lost the ability to do over time. So one of the things I came up with, I was thinking about a client I had seen in my fieldwork placement, and he's had kind of unmanaged diabetes for several years, and he's had some progressive amputation starting with the toes on one foot, and then that foot, and then an above knee amputation on that leg, and then also the toes of his other foot. So that's the stage where he is right now, missing toes on his right foot and an above knee amputation on his left leg. This client is still very strong in his arms and his leg, and prefers to do as many things independently as he can, including transfers. He's very adamant about trying to do the best he can on his own for transfers, in and out of his wheelchair to his armchair in his living room, from his wheelchair, his power wheelchair, into the car when he needs to go out, and then back into the wheelchair again from the car, and then also into and out of his shower. He tries very much to do this on his own and will only call for help if he needs it, and the people, his caregivers and people who live with him, they know that, not to interfere. And really, essentially, he's only able to do this as independently as he is because he's still so strong. He does complain about how hard it is to do that in the wintertime, especially outdoors, moving from the car to his power wheelchair, because he doesn't have good traction when he uses a crutch or a cane or any other device like that. And so I thought, well, we could probably give him better traction. So the device I decided to work on was to take an ordinary cane and give it some traction on ice and snow. This gentleman would be able to use that in such a way that he would be able to get in and out of his chair, but then I also wanted to give him a crutch that he could use indoors without scratching up his floor. A good way to get traction on ice and snow is to put really sharp metal things on the bottom and give you traction that way. But then you'd have to switch canes back and forth, and that would be kind of clumsy and awkward to carry along with him at all times, and therefore he probably wouldn't end up doing it and try to make do with a regular cane. So I thought I better make a cane with retractable traction, and that's what I did. This piece here is a cane. It's I picked it up for $15 from a local Meijer, and then I made some adaptations to it, which is essentially a long rod running through the center, controlled by a handle at this end, which then projects a spring-loaded stainless steel tip out at the end. So that gives him his traction in the ice. Very simple. It doesn't take much to get a good grip on the ice. So when he puts his weight on that, that's sticking out about a half an inch. And then at the flip of the switch, it's spring-loaded and retracts back into the cane, so he can use that indoors without damaging his floor. That's essentially all there is to this. It added, I don't know, a couple of pounds worth of weight. It wasn't a big deal. And the cane costs about $15. I think the other material costs another $15 or maybe $20. So all told, you're under $40 for this piece of equipment. There are a few precautions you might want to keep in mind with this. If a person is not as strong as this client in trying to complete transfers without the use of one leg totally independently, then that could be an issue, and maybe it should be a contraindication that they should be trying to be so independent. This guy, there's no question whether he's going to try it or not, so we might as well give him the right tools. And then another thing, when I made this handle, I had to basically remove an L-shaped piece of the cane, and that can take away some weight-bearing structure. This gentleman is a fairly heavy man. He's stocky and strong, like I said, but this should still give him plenty of weight-bearing support. But if you have a very large person who's really leaning on this, you want to be careful because you're weakening the cane right at that point. So the next, I thought I'd kind of take you through how I built this. I'd say all told, it took me an hour and a half, a couple hours of straight work time. But if you're not familiar with kind of working with these kinds of materials, and if you don't have adequate tools, I have a few tools myself, then this really could take several hours of time to complete. None of it's that difficult, but it's just time consuming, and you have to get everything lined up right. So the next step, I'll kind of show you how that works. And then to close out, I've got a friend of mine who's going to help me demonstrate how this works in real life. Like I said, I won't have access to that client again, but my friend will kind of show you how it works for him. See you soon. So this is my friend Steve. He's obviously not the client I built this piece of adaptive equipment for. I won't have access to that client again, unfortunately. But Steve is about the same size, or would be about the same size as that man if he were standing on 2 legs as Steve is. So I thought I'd have Steve kind of help me demonstrate how this can be used in real life. First off, Steve, you want to kind of show us what the tip looks like that we're dealing with when you operate it? Yeah, so it's out. It's in, kind of a push of a button. So a spring-loaded tip for gripping in the ice and snow. And it's a pretty nice day out here. We don't have any ice and snow, but Steve's going to go ahead and walk around and kind of show you how you can operate this thing virtually one-handed. So give it a go. All right. As usual, one of my children is in the video. Thanks, Steve. How's it feel?
Good.
Seem like it works all right, smoothly?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.